Camille, I have all of this content in my arsenal. I have video reels, I have carousels, I have podcast episodes, I have YouTube videos. How can I start to repurpose this content for Pinterest? Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, the podcast for women building their dreams while balancing work, family, and all the things. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, a wife, mom, marketer, and your side hustling friend here to teach you how to grow a brand that works for you and not the other way around. Whether you're a side hustling pro or just starting out, this is your safe place for real talk, actionable strategies, and the encouragement you need to keep going. We're here to help you make progress and not perfection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's build your dream one step at a time. Hello, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, and I am so excited to have you here today because today we're going to be diving into a platform that quietly drives traffic to your business, and that is Pinterest. If you've been stuck on the Instagram or TikTok hamster wheel chasing the algorithms, then this conversation is going to give you the permission to start building an evergreen visibility system without being on socials 24/7. My guest today is Camille Kurtenbach, who is a Pinterest strategist and manager and the host of the Pinterest Coffee Chats podcast. Camille helps business owners just like you increase organic traffic to your business by posting less and using a simple search first system that turns your content into long-term clicks, leads, and sales. Camille is a firm believer in making marketing easy and not overwhelming. And so in this episode, we're going to dive into why Pinterest belongs in the same bucket as Google, not Instagram, and what that means for your marketing strategy. We're going to talk about the anatomy of an optimized profile and Pinterest board so your pins actually rank and keep working for you months after you posted them. We're also going to talk about what to repurpose, like reels and carousels, podcast posts, or even YouTube videos, and how to use keywords so you can drive saves and outbound clicks. And we're going to be discussing the metrics that actually matter on Pinterest and the timeline to expect results. Camille is also going to be sharing a simple action workflow that helps you not to add more things onto your to-do list, but allow you to build sustainable visibility in your business. So grab your coffee and grab your notebook and let's get into today's episode. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something special for all of my side hustlers out there. Are you building a business while working a 9-to-5 and you're tired of wasting time on marketing strategies that don't actually move the needle? Then you're going to want to get plugged into my weekly newsletter. Every single week, I'm giving you the real behind the scenes scoop on what's actually working in marketing and business. No fluff, no gatekeeping, just real strategies, insights I'm testing in my own business, and practical tips that you can apply right away. If you want to work smarter and not harder and finally start seeing momentum, then head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/newsletter and get locked in. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Well, hello, Camille, and welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm super excited to have you on today's episode because we are going to be talking about all things Pinterest. I know that you are like the Pinterest go-to. So many people have told me about you. And I've seen you on Threads as well. And so before we get into today's episode, I kind of wanted to give people a glimpse or insight on who you are, what you do, and all of the things. So can you break down and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, so I am in Minnesota, so in the Midwest. I am a mom of two. I have a soon-to-be 14-year-old stepson and a 7-year-old daughter. So when we're recording this, it's the beginning of summer. So they are tucked away doing their to-do lists while I record this, balancing both mom life and business life. But that is actually why I picked Pinterest. Pinterest has allowed that evergreen side to work with clients and get them leads and podcast downloads and all the things, while they can focus on what they want to do. And so that is what led me to Pinterest, was the flexibility and that it can work without having to engage 24/7.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people think that Pinterest is just like a place where you just go to like pin random things, but it's like there's people on the back end that are pushing that content out. And a lot of my clients, even with me being in content creation and content marketing, I feel like Pinterest is one of the platforms that a lot of people oftentimes forget is a place where you can market your business. And so I kind of wanted to dive into that, but before we get into that, as far as, because I know that you didn't necessarily start at Pinterest, like you pivoted a couple of times. So, like, how did you even land on focusing solely on Pinterest?
Yes. So I have kind of a windy road of how I got here. I went to college because that's what you did as a 30-some-year-old individual. That is the route that we were told we had to go to
Right.
make money. So I have a 4-year degree in psychology. I dabbled in the school district, dabbled in group home life, could not find anything that felt sustainable for our future family that we wanted to grow. I was also in the MLM space at the same time. So I was learning a
Mm.
lot of social media. I hated the MLM model though. I liked the community aspect and the social media side, but I hated the sales quotas and how much it cost a lot of the time to keep those businesses afloat. So I pivoted with my social media and organization knowledge to helping a marketing company that was all about courses. So I did the organization on the back end. I helped them with customer service. I helped them keep customers longer and upsell for different courses. And then we were pregnant with my daughter, and that business closed while I was on maternity leave. And so I had to pivot again because I didn't have a choice. I had a
Yeah.
newborn. And so that's where I doubled down on Pinterest.
That's so dope. That's super dope. So let's get into all things Pinterest. So I consider myself an Instagram junkie. And, I'm always pushing content out on Instagram, like at least like, once a day during the week. So I normally post Monday through Friday. And I know that a lot of people have this misconception that, in order for you to repurpose, is basically just you rinsing and repeating on all of these platforms. You take the content from Instagram, you post it on TikTok, you post it on YouTube Shorts, you post it on Facebook. But when it comes to Pinterest, it's not necessarily that same strategy. And so I want to talk about, like, for someone that is possibly considering hopping off of the rat race of chasing Instagram algorithms, TikTok algorithms, like, what do you say is a beginning step on being able to take the content that they've had and being able to leverage it on Pinterest?
Yes, that is one of my favorite things actually to do. One of my pillars for my business is simple action. My job is not to add more to your to do list. Pinterest, if you don't know, should be in the same category in your brain as Google. It should not be in the same category as Instagram or TikTok. It's more similar to YouTube, but for sure the two I get pushback on the most is Instagram and TikTok. Well, why can't I
Yeah.
just copy and paste it? Whereas if I'm opening Google or Pinterest, 9 out of 10 times we have a reason that we opened those two apps to find something, whether
Yeah.
it's dinner, whether it's planning the kid's birthday. We go to Google and to Pinterest with an intent in that search and discovery mode, where a lot of times with Pinterest and or Instagram and TikTok, you do have to look for the trending audios. You do have to
Hmm.
look a little bit more of like what style of video is doing better.
Hmm.
What that type of it's just a different content style. While I can use that, it's very different than being like, okay, we have a trending audio and a 7-second Instagram reel, but is there a call to action on some of those? Yes, but do people most of the time take action? No. But on Pinterest, if we have it keyworded right, like let's say it's 3 tips to start on Pinterest, it may not do very well on Instagram, but if I have starting on Pinterest, how to start on Pinterest, Pinterest for business, um, simple steps for marketing or evergreen marketing, if those are all keywords that I have put in the pin title and in the pin description, and then link to a freebie or link to a podcast episode, they're going to get a lot more out of that if they
Yeah.
click through.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I think that even like whenever I'm finding myself pinning stuff on Instagram, like it's not as easy. I mean, they're kind of getting better with like organizing and things of that sort, but when you pin something from several years ago on Pinterest, like it's so easy to navigate to those things and create folders and subfolders and all of the things. And so I totally agree. And so with that, I know that we talked about that, as far as how Pinterest differs from other social media platforms based off of the fact that we view Pinterest as a SEO type of platform versus Instagram not so much. But what about like when it comes to visibility and longevity of your content? Because that's a big game changer and two totally different comparisons when you're comparing Instagram to Pinterest.
Yeah. So news feeds on Pinterest are curated based on what the user is engaging on. So right now, if
Mm,
I pulled up my Pinterest account, you're going to see a lot of my clients' pins because I engage on my clients' pins, as well as a lot of recipes and a
uh-huh.
lot of kid activities, because those are the things that I am currently saving at this phase in life. And so Pinterest is always adapting to what am I scrolling, slowing down my scroll for? What am I clicking on to make bigger? What am I saving? And they're trying to guess what I'm going to open the app for every time I open it and funnel me those things. If
Mm-hmm.
I type in certain things like, so my daughter turned 7 in April, or what we had for her birthday party theme this year. But last year it was unicorns. So I was getting unicorn decorations. I was getting unicorn plates. I was getting unicorn direction or like decorations. I was getting unicorn activities.
Yeah.
So 9 out of 10 times I tell people, if you're searching for keywords around your business or what you want to be known for, look at those first 3, 4 scrolls. See if there's cohesion between the style of pins. See if there's
Yeah.
cohesion between the keywords. See if there's cohesion between the colors, and replicate that in your own voice and your own colors.
Okay, real quick. If you've been showing up on socials and still not getting the results you want, I want you to listen up because I'm offering free social media audits exclusively for my side hustler listeners. If you're not sure if your page is actually attracting the right clients or if your content feels all over the place, or you just want to make sure that you're on the right track when it comes to building your brand, I got you. These audits are where I go in and I look at your page and I give you the personalized feedback on what's working, what needs to shift, and how to start creating content that actually converts. I'll also drop a few tips and strategies that most people aren't sharing because I want to see you win. And the best part about it, it's free, my friend. So head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/audit and secure your audit today.
That is so true because I kid you not, I was on Pinterest the other day and I was like just randomly scrolling and I was like, it popped up some like flower background like for your iPhones. Like, I don't know how I find myself in a rabbit hole of those types of pins, but literally I like pinned one and then next thing you know, I get all of these like flower iPhone backgrounds. And so I wanted to ask you, how as far as engagement goes, like what are key engagement metrics that we should always strive for if we're wanting to implement Pinterest in our marketing strategy? Typically on Instagram, we're always trying to focus on likes, comments, saves. But as far as Pinterest, like what are the key metrics to track on Pinterest?
Yes, your people are going to be very surprised by this, but if you're just looking at accounts monthly
Mm,
views mean nothing.
okay.
Normally, if you're seeing crazy amounts of monthly views, they're spending ads somewhere. You may not be able to see them forward facing on their account. Me, as a strategist, I use impressions to make sure we're using the right keywords. Because if we're using
Mm.
the right keywords for what you want to be known for, you're going to start showing up in more searches. I'm always looking at what our top impressions pins are to see, okay, do we think it was the style of the pin, the keywords, or the type of content that it was? Business owners want outbound clicks. We want traffic to our offers. So that
Yes.
is another one that business owners really want to see outbound clicks. Most businesses, if you're not spending ad money, you're not going to see those outbound clicks start to snowball. It's because it's not instant. It's not Instagram, where if you do a viral, you can go viral very quickly on Instagram sometimes, or TikTok. That's not going to happen on Pinterest. And then saves is actually Pinterest most wanted.
Ah.
Okay.
because that shows them that the content was useful and helpful and showed up for the right searches and that you want to be able to come back to it. Then they're going to start funneling your content more because you're hitting their marker of, oh, this was helpful content.
That's so good. That's so good. I feel like I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, do you feel like there are certain types of businesses that benefit from using Pinterest more than others, or some businesses that, may not actually need to be on Pinterest? Like, who do you feel is, the target ideal business to be on Pinterest?
That I've been asked a lot lately, actually.
Okay.
And so I personally have the most experience with the health and wellness umbrella, the food space, and then the parenting space. Those are the clients that I tend to attract because of my marketing. Home decor, e-commerce, like teachers pay teachers type stuff. So that classroom resources, parenting resources, they all do well. My ones that struggle the most tend to be like brick and mortar or clients that don't enjoy creating content or don't consistently create content. So I don't
Mm.
necessarily think it's a niche necessarily. It's the type of business owner that you are.
But I feel like that's with any platform. I'm like, if you don't like creating content, like you're not going to thrive on social media, because social media is content. Like whether it's long form, short form, word form, video form, photos, like you have to have something.
Yep, and that's it, right? Like I don't care if it's a blog post, I don't
Yeah.
care if it's a podcast episode, I don't care if it's a carousel that we need to throw into Chat GPT that with your words on it to create a short form blog post with a
Hmm.
call to action at the bottom to work with you. Like I don't care how we get the content there. I always tell my clients choose the path of least resistance. And
Yeah.
once I know that, I can support you in what you should be creating
Yeah.
or topics, but we got to have content to drive traffic to. I have to have offers to drive traffic to. I have to send them somewhere. That's the biggest disconnect a lot of time. I don't know about you, but if I click on a recipe and I get linked to an Instagram account, I'm going to be annoyed
Yeah.
and click out. Or if I want to go purchase this invitation that looks so pretty and then it links me to your Instagram account where I can't purchase, or I have to go find another link to try to purchase
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You're losing people. So while
Yeah.
it's a quote unquote easy solution, they're not optimized for Pinterest to serve you as the business owner the best of your ability. So that's why I'm
Oh
like,
my
you can
gosh.
use it all. I use it all the time. Like one of my clients right now, she is pushing her webinar that she does every single week. So we're taking those reels that she's doing every single week. I'm using the caption she writes because that's good. It's her voice, plugging it into Chat GPT and being like, okay, use this caption, the CTAs to register for the webinar, and these are the additional keywords. I know we're adding highly searched keywords, and I know we're repurposing from her Instagram with the goal to increase webinar attendance.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. Okay, Camille, I have all of this content in my arsenal. I have video reels, I have carousels, I have podcast episodes, I have YouTube video. What is like the first thing that someone can do to start to repurpose the content that they already have backlog from all these other platforms? And then also, what is the main form of content that you should post? Like, is it a graphic? Is it a video? Because I know that that's kind of interchangeably on Pinterest too. Y'all already know I'm all about working smarter and not harder, especially when it comes to marketing your brand. And if you're still relying only on social media to reach your audience, we need to fix that immediately. Social media is cute, but let's be real. The algorithm is unpredictable and your content is probably only reaching a small percentage of your followers. That's why I swear by email marketing, because when I send an email, I know 100% of my subscribers are getting my messages. And the best part, Flowdesk makes it ridiculously easy. You can send beautiful on-brand emails, automate your sequences, and even create landing pages without needing to be tech savvy. And because you're listening, I got you a deal. Use my code SideHustle at checkout and you'll get 50% off your FlowDesk subscription for the next 12 months. So if you're ready to stop relying on algorithms and start building a email list that actually converts, try FlowDesk for free. And don't forget to use the code SideHustle at checkout for that exclusive 50% off.
Yep. So the first thing should always be optimizing your Pinterest account. So we can't see success if we do not have a foundation. The foundation is the most important. So within the show notes, you guys are going to get access to my current freebie, which has all the foundational stuff in there, but it tells you what you should have in your profile, how you should create the boards. All of that foundational work needs to be done first before you can really scale and see the success of Pinterest. So you need boards that are keyworded. Let's say the podcast had its own Pinterest account. So we would have multiple places to drive the mass amount of backlog content that is out there for this specific business. What I typically would do once that foundation is there, I would ask the business owner, okay, how many pins a month do you think you want to post that is sustainable long term? Most of my clients are between 1 and 5 pins a day. My food bloggers are more on the 5 pin a day side because they have the content. My business owners, like true coaching or service-based businesses, are more at that like 1 to 3 pins a day. And once we know that, then we reverse engineer it. So let's say you want to be at 30 pins a day. So that would be, or 30 pins a month. That would be 1 pin a day. So the first week of June, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, podcast pins. Tuesday, repurpose an Instagram reel. Thursday, lead to an offer. Saturday, Sunday, fill in with what you feel like you need to fill in. And then we would flip it. Is there a day that you see more traffic? Are people consuming your content more on the weekends? Are we seeing a spike in impressions on a Monday? Like whatever it may be, I don't know any of that until we test it. What can we do that's sustainable for you as a business owner? And we get that number and then we kind of reverse engineer it. And like I said, if we're repurposing reels, I kind of gave that scenario of where I take what you guys would have written in your captions or what's on the landing page of where we're driving the traffic to, and then what's being highly searched on Pinterest, and kind of morph all of that together to create the pin title and the pin description, and then link it directly where they can take action. So opting in, reading the blog, listening to the podcast episode, whatever that specific offer is, or piece of content is. And then your analytics will tell you what's working and not working every single month, essentially. And the big thing with that is I really am a firm believer that you need to look at your analytics every single month, but I don't make any major changes for clients until we've hit every single quarter. Like if we need to majorly change a template or we need to majorly change something, I'm waiting at least 3 months. Do I give them minor tweaks and stuff? For sure. If something big changes on Pinterest, we make the changes. But I'm looking most of my clients at like that 3, 6, 9, 12 month chunks. I have one client who's coming up on a year that I have been working with them in June. And if you just look at February to April, it looks bad. They had a huge drop. It was just not a great time for them. But I looked at their year over year stuff. So like, cause June will be a year, they had like 6,000 outbound clicks to their website from June of last year to end of April, which that's a lot.
Yeah.
And they're very specialty, like they only do cookies. So
That's amazing.
Everybody's wants that secret sauce, wants that magic spell, and a good Pinterest manager, a good Pinterest strategist is going to tell you there isn't one. There's foundational pieces that need to be set in place to have a solid foundation to see success. But everybody's business is unique. So everybody's strategy should also be unique.
I love that. And I feel like that's the same across all platforms. Because I mean, even with Instagram, people are like, well, this didn't work. And it's like, you've only shot content with me one time for 1 month. Like, it's something that takes time to build. You have to build traction. You got to get the gears going and rolling like a train. It's one of those things where people, they invest in it and they think that because you invest, you're supposed to see overnight success. And there's no overnight success recipe for any of these platforms. It's more so just building it up like an investment bank. You building it up over time, then you look back and you're like, whoa, after 12 months, after 18 months, like, you see how far you've come. So I totally agree. And my last question that I wanted to ask about content is, when it comes to Pinterest, like, does Pinterest prioritize video content over like still content or carousel content? Like, what do you feel is like the most like highest converting piece of content on Pinterest?
I have seen the most success, especially for my new accounts or ones that like were there, but they weren't actually doing anything with it. That variety of video and static. So if we can do 50-50 for businesses, it works really well. I try my best to have that variety. You don't need to. Like I said, I have at least 2 food blogger accounts that don't do video. I love repurposing reels, especially if they're some of those educational ones or those ones that have the good hooks on them, because then you like have the video pause on that on Pinterest too.
Don't you love when people tell you that how to do what you are an expert in? It's
Yes.
like, listen, you're paying me because you wanted me to solve your problem, and I'm telling you this is not going to solve your problem, but you still want to do it.
Yep, it happens. It's okay. We made it work, but it's just funny because sometimes, sometimes you get clients that are like, my way or the highway, and that's fine. As a strategist who's been in the game for so long and somebody who still manages, that's another thing that I think sets me apart with the industry right now is I'm still managing accounts day to day. And it's not just my own. Like, there's some others out there who just sell their course or don't actually multiply their results for other clients. So that's one thing that I absolutely love. I love teaching people how to do it, which is why I love getting on podcasts. And I have my done with you options where your clients will do the work themselves and just have me in their back pocket to ask questions to and give feedback on. And I do truly love both, but I still very much, that's what pays my bills, is in managing people's accounts month to month to stay up to date and make sure that what we're doing is working.
Yeah. This has been so good. And so I honestly feel like after listening to this episode, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I need to be on Pinterest. And well, that's the whole point, right? Yeah. So before you go, Camille, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about your free resource that you were talking about. It's your money making machine. Who's it for? How does it help them? And then also, where can people learn more about you and connect with you further to get their Pinterest in order?
Yes. So the freebie that's linked is just that foundational guide that I had chatted about a little bit before. It really breaks down the different steps to set yourself up for success without like getting jumbled up in, oh, I have to take this course or I don't know what I'm doing type of stuff. It's that bare bones, but super helpful information that a lot of people asked for all the time. So that is what the freebie is. I'm most active on Instagram as far as like DM conversations and communicating back and forth that way. And then I did also launch a podcast in April as well. So there's a lot of podcast episodes out there with different topics as well that you guys can find at Pinterest Coffee Chats, wherever you stream your podcast. But
Yes. Thank you so much, Camille, for joining me today on today's episode. I'm so excited to implement these strategies and also to grab your freebie. And if you are ready to add Pinterest to your marketing ecosystem, make sure that you check Camille out. I will have everything linked down below in the description. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Side Hustler Podcast. I hope you're leaving here today feeling inspired and ready to take your next step. If you love this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share with another side hustler who needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Carly Dorling. I'd love to hear about your side hustling journey. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and your dreams are so worth it. Until next time, keep hustling, sis. You got this.